Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever looked at the clock and realized the entire day is gone, but you have done absolutely nothing?
No progress, no change, just the same scrolling, the same excuses, the same "I'll start tomorrow." But what if tomorrow never shows up?
What if today is all you ever get? Laziness is not always about lying in bed or watching Netflix. Sometimes it hides in our comfort zones. It dresses up as overthinking. It whispers, "What's the point?" and makes you believe the lie that you're not capable. It convinces you that life is too hard and dreams are too far. You say you're tired. You say your body feels heavy. You say, "I just don't have the energy today." But deep down, it is not your body that's tired. It is your soul hiding. Laziness often looks like fatigue, but it is not. It is fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of trying and still not making it, and fear pretends to be exhaustion, so you never challenge it. When your dreams scare you, laziness becomes a shield, a way to protect yourself from disappointment. If you don't try, you won't fail, right? That's the lie. But here's the truth. Not trying is the biggest failure. You miss every shot you refuse to take. You sit there convincing yourself that one more hour of rest will help. That scrolling for 5 more minutes will somehow refresh your mind. That tomorrow you will have more motivation. But that's not rest. That's escape. That's avoidance. You are not healing. You are hiding. When fear enters your mind, it brings with it 1,000 reasons to stay still. It tells you you're not good enough, that others are already ahead, that you'll never make it. And then, like a thief in the night, it wraps itself in comfort and calls itself rest. But rest is not the same as laziness. Rest renews you. Laziness rots you. The real danger of laziness is not the time you waste. It's the identity you build. The more you stay inactive, the more you believe you are incapable. Slowly, you stop seeing yourself as someone who gets things done. You stop trusting yourself. That's how laziness kills dreams, not loudly, but silently, day by day, through the erosion of belief. It does not take a storm to destroy a ship. Sometimes just floating without direction is enough, but you can break the pattern. You can decide to stand up and do one small thing. Not a perfect thing, not a big thing, just one thing. Maybe it's writing the first sentence, or going for a 10-minute walk, or opening the book, one small action. Because every big victory begins with a small decision to stop being afraid. Fear wants you to believe you need more motivation. You don't. You just need movement. Action dissolves fear. Movement kills self-doubt. Laziness hates momentum because once you start, you realize, I can actually do this. That is what fear never wants you to discover. So next time you say, I'm just tired, ask yourself, is it my body that's tired, or is it my courage that's missing? And then do the thing anyway, even if it is ugly, even if it is awkward, even if it is slow. Because you owe it to yourself to prove that fear is just a mask. And laziness is just a name you give to a dream unlived. Your comfort zone feels safe. It feels warm, predictable, and manageable, but that safety is a trap. It is a quiet little prison with invisible walls, and the saddest part is those walls were built by your own hands. Every time you say, I'll start later, every time you choose familiar over effort, every time you avoid discomfort, you add another brick. You think comfort is peace, but peace does not come from hiding. It comes from growth, and growth only happens when you step into the unknown. Yet, again and again, you choose routine. You stay where it's easy, where nobody questions you, where your dreams do not feel too big, because you do not let them breathe. You keep telling yourself that you are okay, that this is just temporary, that life will change soon. But life does not change on its own. Life responds to movement. It responds to bravery. And if you are standing still, life will leave you behind. Every single day you spend in your comfort zone, you shrink a little more, not in size, but in spirit. You stop stretching. You stop reaching. You stop imagining.
You let go of the bold version of yourself and settle for the one who just survives. The scary thing about comfort is how silently it convinces you to stay. It does not yell, it whispers. It gives you reasons. You've done enough today. It's too late to try something new. What if people laugh at you? And little by little, those whispers become your reality. You begin to think playing small is wisdom, that not trying is maturity, that silence is strength, but deep inside you know the truth. None of this is making you happy. You were not born to stay where it's easy. You were born to explore, to fall, to rise, to create. Your comfort zone does not care about your dreams. It only cares about your safety, and the longer you live there, the more your courage fades. People do not get stuck in life because they lack talent. They get stuck because they keep waiting for things to feel right. They wait for the fear to disappear. They wait for clarity, but comfort will never give you clarity. It will only numb you until you forget why you even started dreaming in the first place. Think about the moments in your life when you felt truly alive. The moments when your heart was racing, your hands were shaking, and your mind was screaming, "I can't do this," but you did it anyway. Those are the moments that changed you, and none of them happened inside your comfort zone. You have to stop living like you have unlimited time. You don't. Every moment you delay, you lose something you can never get back. Time does not pause for your fear. It does not stop so you can gather the courage. It moves forward, with or without you. The door is open. It always has been, but stepping out means you will have to face failure. You will have to face judgment. You will have to face hard days, but on the other side of all that there is life, real life, the kind that makes you proud. The kind that makes you say, "I am becoming who I was meant to be." Comfort is a cage disguised as a blessing. It looks nice, it feels warm, but it keeps you from your wings. And wings were never meant to be folded. They were meant to fly. You just have to take the first step, not because you're not scared, but because you're tired of pretending you're not meant for more. Every excuse you make today is a thief, not just of time, not just of energy, but of the life you could have lived. Excuses are smooth talkers. They speak gently, persuasively, and they always have the perfect timing. Right when you are about to start, they arrive with a reason. Not today. I'm too tired. I'm not ready yet. And before you know it, days slip into weeks, and weeks melt into years. You do not even notice it at first, because excuses feel like comfort. They feel like protection. They feel like logic. But they are chains, beautifully wrapped chains that bind your hands and feet while convincing you that you are in control. And you keep feeding them. You feed them with your doubts, your fears, your insecurities. You let them grow stronger every time you believe them. Every time you surrender, they win. Excuses do not need to be loud to be dangerous. The most dangerous ones are the quietest. The ones you whisper to yourself in the dark. The ones that say you are not good enough. It is too late. Someone else can do it better. Those excuses do not just delay your progress, they rewrite your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone capable. You start becoming the story your excuses tell. Look around you. Everything great, everything beautiful, every success story. It came from someone who ignored their excuses, who had the same fear, the same doubt, the same lazy days, but they chose to act. They chose to move anyway. Because the difference between someone who lives their dream and someone who only watches from the sidelines is not talent. It is the ability to call out the excuse and refuse to listen. You keep thinking your excuses are harmless, that skipping one day will not matter, that saying next time is no big deal. But every excuse costs you a moment of power, a chance to show up, a chance to grow, and when those moments are gone, you do not get to rewind. You do not get to ask time for a second chance. Time listens to action, not to apology. Excuses do something worse than stealing your future. They help you settle. They teach you to be okay with less. They slowly convince you that average is acceptable, and that is when you truly start to lose. Not when you fail,
But when you no longer care enough to try, when you become numb to your own potential, that numbness is not peace. It is defeat. You know what you need to do. Deep down you always have. But instead of doing it, you keep negotiating with yourself. Looking for a perfect moment, waiting for motivation, wanting a sign. The truth is, there is no perfect time. The best time is the moment you are in. The second you feel resistance, that is the sign to move, not to wait. You do not have to win every battle with laziness, but you have to start showing up for the war. And every time you act, even when it is messy, even when it is small, you take your power back. One excuse silenced is one step closer to the life you are supposed to live. The next time you hear that voice in your head trying to sell you a reason to pause, ask yourself, what is this going to cost me tomorrow? Because it always costs something. Progress, confidence, pride, joy. Excuses do not come for free. They take something every time. And all they ever give back is regret. Motivation is a spark. It comes fast, burns bright, and disappears just as quickly. It feels amazing in the moment you watch a video, read a quote, or hear a powerful story, and suddenly your heart is on fire. You feel unstoppable. You make promises to yourself, big ones. You plan, you dream, you imagine a brand new life starting today. But then the moment passes, reality walks back in, your energy fades, and your old habits sit waiting for you like loyal shadows. This is the trap of motivation. It gives you a glimpse of what is possible, but it does not give you the strength to keep going. That strength comes from discipline, from doing things even when you do not feel like it, especially when you do not feel like it. Because discipline is not emotional. It does not rely on your mood. It does not care whether you are tired, sad, or uninspired. It just shows up day after day, quietly building your future. Most people are waiting to feel right. They say they will start when they feel ready, when they feel good, when life feels less chaotic. But life does not wait for you to be in the mood. Life rewards consistency, and discipline is the only bridge between your dreams and reality. It is not fancy. It is not exciting, but it is solid. It holds you up when motivation falls apart. Think about the people you admire. The athletes, the writers, the creators, the builders, they are not always motivated, but they have trained themselves to keep going. They have routines, habits, systems. They do not need inspiration. They rely on action, and that action becomes part of who they are. You can wait for motivation, or you can build discipline. One will give you a few good days. The other will give you a lifetime of results. Motivation is like weather. It changes, but discipline is like a compass. It points you forward, no matter the storm. You have to stop chasing the feeling and start respecting the process. Some days you will hate it. You will want to quit. You will argue with yourself. But if you push through, even a little, that is where growth begins. Not in the glamorous moments, but in the gritty ones. When you wake up early even though you want to sleep. When you study even though your brain is tired. When you practice even though no one is watching. That is where greatness hides. Discipline is not about being perfect. It is about being committed. Missing one day does not break you, but quitting does. And the more you show up, the more your mind learns to trust you. You stop needing willpower because you build momentum. Discipline turns into identity. You stop saying, I want to become, and you start saying, I am becoming. It is easy to dream. It is easy to start, but it is hard to stay. That is why so few people make it to the top. Not because they are more talented, but because they kept walking when others sat down. They chose effort over comfort. They chose discipline over mood. You have what it takes, but the world will only see it if you show up, again and again, even when it is boring, even when no one claps, even when nothing seems to change, because that is where change is born, in the quiet, in the repetition, in the discipline that refuses to quit. Time has never paused for anyone. not for kings, not for saints, not for dreamers, and it certainly will not pause for your hesitation. Every second you spend waiting is a second you never get back. You tell yourself you are thinking, you are planning, you are being careful, but what you are really doing is delaying. And while you delay, the clock keeps ticking, the world keeps turning, and opportunities keep slipping through fingers that never reach for them. There is a quiet danger in hesitation. It is sneaky, it feels responsible, it dresses up like caution. But underneath it is fear, fear of getting it wrong, fear of looking foolish, fear of stepping into something new and being seen as a beginner. So you stay where it feels familiar, where the risks are low, where failure feels far away. And while you wait, someone else with half your talent and none of your fear is out there making moves. You keep thinking you need more clarity. You want signs, signals, certainty, but time does not offer those. It offers moments, and those moments demand decisions. You do not get the luxury of sitting still while expecting progress. Life rewards the doers, not the doubters, and the truth is, not choosing is still a choice, not acting is still action. It is just action in the wrong direction. You tell yourself that there will be a better time, that next week you will feel stronger, more focused, more ready. But that next week is a myth. You are not going to wake up one day and suddenly feel fearless. Fear is part of the journey. Doubt walks beside you. You do not need to wait for it to leave. You need to start walking anyway. The people who build lives they are proud of are not always the most confident. They are the ones who move despite the noise in their head. They feel the fear and step forward anyway. Because they know time is not patient, time is moving. It does not slow down because you are unsure. It does not rewind for your regrets. It does not care about your perfect timing. It only offers you now. When you hesitate, you fall behind, and the longer you wait, the harder it is to catch up, not just with others, but with the version of yourself you were meant to become. The more you delay, the more distant that version becomes, and one day you may look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. Not because you changed, but because you never allowed yourself to grow. Time is not your enemy, it is your mirror. It reflects what you do with it. If you waste it, it shows you regret. If you honor it, it shows you growth. And it is never silent. It is always whispering, always ticking, always asking, "What will you do with me?" The truth is, action beats planning when planning turns into procrastination. You do not have to be brilliant to begin, you just have to begin. That first step, shaky and unsure, matters more than 1,000 perfect intentions. Because time will not slow down for your thoughts, it moves with your actions, so the question is not whether you have enough time. The question is whether you will use it before it is gone. Because time has a rule, it does not stop. Not for your fear, not for your doubt, not for your laziness, and the ones who succeed are not the ones who waited the longest. They are the ones who stopped waiting. Blaming others is the easiest thing to do. It gives you a way out, a way to protect your ego, to hide from the truth, to avoid responsibility. When things go wrong, you look around for someone to point at. Your parents, your teachers, your circumstances, your past, your pain. It feels lighter to say it's not my fault, but that sentence carries a heavy cost because the more you say it, the more powerless you become. Every time you blame someone else, you hand them the steering wheel of your life. You make them responsible not just for your pain, but for your progress. You say they messed it up so I can't fix it, and with that you sit back and wait for an apology, for a rescue, for something that may never come. Meanwhile, your goals wait too. Your growth waits, your dreams wait, and eventually they start to fade. It is not about denying what happened to you. People hurt you, life was unfair, things went wrong that were not your fault. But healing is not about proving who caused the damage. It is about taking back the pen and choosing how the story continues. Because as long as you are stuck on the first chapters, You never get to the part where you rise. Blame is like a shield that slowly turns into a cage. It feels like protection, but it becomes your prison. It keeps you stuck in the same patterns, reliving the same problems, repeating the same excuses. You keep saying they need to change, but what if they never do? Will you let your entire life depend on someone else's behavior? The day you stop blaming is the day you take your power back. It is not weakness to say, I am responsible now. It is strength. It means you are ready to stop being a victim and start becoming the author. It means you are done waiting and finally ready to act. No more if only and why me, just what now, and how can I grow from this? People who succeed do not have easier lives. They just stop using pain as a reason to pause. They use it as fuel. They do not deny their story, they rewrite it. Not out of arrogance, but out of courage. Courage to face the mirror and say, maybe I did not cause all this, but I'm the one who has to change it. You think blaming helps you stay strong, but it actually makes you fragile, because the moment life hits you again, and it will, you have no tools to fight back. You are left waiting for someone else to fix it. That is not strength, that is surrender. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is about growth. It means asking yourself hard questions. What am I doing that keeps me stuck? What habit do I keep feeding? What lie do I keep telling myself? And when you answer honestly, you begin to see that the only person standing between you and your potential is the one in the mirror. It is a tough truth. It is not sugar-coated, but it is freeing, because once you stop blaming, there is nothing in your way. You are not waiting for change, you become the change. You stop pointing fingers and start using your hands. To build, to move, to rise. You do not need a perfect past to create a powerful future. You just need to stop dragging old blame into new beginnings. The moment you do that, you stop being a passenger. You start driving, and every mile forward becomes your own. There are only two kinds of pain in life, the pain of effort and the pain of regret, and no matter how hard you try to avoid it, you will feel one of them. The difference is that one builds you and the other breaks you. One feels heavy now but light later. The other feels light now but crushes you over time. The pain of effort is honest, it is raw, it stretches you, it demands more than you think you have, but it rewards you. The pain of regret, on the other hand, is silent at first. It sneaks in after all the chances have passed, when time is no longer yours to command. Effort is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is waking up when you want to sleep. It is choosing a salad when you crave comfort food. It is showing up to your studies, your goals, your health, your growth, even when no one claps for you. It is pushing through when your mind screams to stop, and in those moments your body aches, your heart gets tired, and your mind begs for a break. But every drop of sweat, every moment of resistance, every ounce of self-discipline adds up. It builds character. It builds courage, it builds a version of you that one day will look back and be proud. Regret, however, does not come with warning signs. It does not arrive loudly. It creeps in years later, when you see someone doing what you once dreamed of, when you realize you had the chance but let it slip. When you understand that your dreams did not die, they were just buried under excuses. That is when regret becomes unbearable, because you cannot go back and undo what you avoided. You cannot reverse the time you wasted. You can only carry it, and it weighs more than any effort ever could. People often try to escape effort. They say it is too hard, too exhausting, too much. But they forget that effort is not punishment, it is preparation. Every struggle you face now is sharpening you. It is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to reveal you, to help you discover just how strong you really are. But when you run from effort, you run from growth. You stay comfortable, yes, but you stay small. The world will not reward you for what you intended to do. It will reward you for what you pushed through to complete. for what you sacrificed, for what you kept going with when everyone else gave up. That is what separates those who talk about success from those who live it. Effort does not guarantee a smooth path, but it guarantees movement. It guarantees you will not be in the same place a year from now. Regret guarantees you will. Every time you choose the easy road, you trade temporary relief for permanent loss. You trade becoming for staying the same. And even though it feels safe, deep down you know you are meant for more. That knowing becomes louder with time. That voice becomes sharper, and the longer you ignore it, the more painful it becomes. Effort is not the enemy. It is the cost of greatness, and it is a cost you pay daily, with time, with energy, with focus. But it is a price that buys you freedom. Freedom to live without wondering what if. Freedom to look in the mirror and say, I gave it everything. That is peace. That is power. That is the reward effort offers. Regret offers none. It only asks